Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez is the face of democratic socialism. And since her brain is as empty as the promises of unfettered statism, I am absolutely fine with that. Every time she makes another gaffe, it only highlights how horrible the system is and how the bubble-wrapped utopian pipe dream that has been sold like Florida's swampland to gullible college students will ultimately implode from its own dead weight. AOC supposedly has an economics degree, which I imagine she got through the mail by clipping box tops off her Panda Puff cereal, because she certainly didn't have to sit through any classes, or some rational nuggets would have seeped into her brain through accidental osmosis.
This is serious. This should not be a partisan issue. Iowa, Nebraska, broad swaths of the Midwest are drowning right now, underwater. Farms, towns that will never be recovered and never come back. And we're here, and people are more concerned about helping oil companies than helping their own families? I don't think so. This is about American lives, and it should not be partisan. Science should not be partisan. Deeper still, we don't have to project 1 minute into our future to see that the climate crisis is already here. A woman whose dreams of motherhood now taste bittersweet because of what I know about our children's future. And that our actions are responsible for bringing their most dire possibilities into focus. Just 2 years ago, one of the deadliest disasters in the United States struck in the form of Hurricane Maria. The climate change-powered storm killed over 3,000 Puerto Ricans. None of this is a coincidence, because climate change is not a coincidence or a scientific anomaly. Climate change is a consequence.
You're talking about zero carbon emissions, no use of fossil fuels within 12 years?
That is the goal. It's ambitious. And
how is that possible? You're talking about everybody having to drive an electric car?
It's going to require a lot of rapid change that we don't even conceive as possible right now.
I think it's incredible. I mean, it shows that everyday Americans still have the power to organize and fight for their communities, and they can have more say in this country than the richest man in the world.
The district now is going to lose 25,000 jobs. Like this
Well, one of those things is, A, we were subsidizing those jobs. So for the city was paying for those jobs. So frankly, if we were willing to give Amazon if we were willing to give away $3 billion for this deal, we could invest those $3 billion in our district ourselves if we wanted to. We could hire out more teachers, we can fix our subways, we can put a lot of people to work for that money if we wanted to. There was no guarantee that those jobs were for the New Yorkers that were here. We were looking at a deal that was not primarily putting the community first.
Okay, so let's say I'm a really, really bad guy, and let's say I have some skeletons in my closet that I need to cover up so that I can get elected. Mr. Smith, is it true that you wrote this article, this opinion piece for the Washington Post entitled, "These payments to women were unseemly, that doesn't mean they were illegal"?
Well, I can't see the piece, but I wrote a piece under that headline in the Post, so I assume that's right.
Okay, great. So, green light for hush money. I can do all sorts of terrible things. It's totally legal right now for me to pay people off. And that is considered speech. That money is considered speech. And while there's all of this debate about whether a citizenship question should be included or not included, the question I have is, why are we violating the law to include any question whatsoever in the 2020 census? So my question is, why are we violating the law to include this question in the 2020?
Point of order. There's been no enunciation of what that statute is. I don't even know what she's talking about.
I'd be happy to provide it. And this is here in U.S. Code, 13 U.S. Code, section 141, population and other census information, subsection F3. And I'd be happy to provide that to you.
Now, I noticed that all your I guess those attorneys back there squirming around telling you stuff. Can you tell, maybe they can help us with this answer.